Hey everybody, welcome back to A Glittery Life. I have a really quick, easy how-to video for you. This is how to depot eyeshadows. This is how to depot a NYX or MAC eyeshadow. This actually you would be able to do this for all kinds of other eyeshadows. I apologize that you can see my house in the background. It's such a mess, but recently I got a bunch of the NYX new NYX shadows in their new packaging, and you know I'm all about the Z palette, so I had to depot all of mine. And on aglitterylife.com I have a step-by-step photo tutorial as well, but I thought I would do a video for some of you who really like kind of the video, you know, it's just easier for you. Okay, so I am just sitting at my kitchen counter at a bar stool that is too low for my kitchen counter, but whatever, I can't win them all, I guess. And I wanted to show you some of the tools that I have with me. So I have a flat iron on high, I have a Sharpie marker, I have little round magnets. These come in the Z palette because that's what I put all my depotted shadows in. And then I have this tool right here that's called a comedone extractor, and it's actually for extracting out of your pores. And I only ever use this little side. I never use this big flat side. I don't get quite what it's for, but it's the perfect tool for depotting. I also have a paper towel down here, and I have some rubbing alcohol in case I shatter any of these. You can put those back together with rubbing alcohol. And the last thing I have is just a piece of paper. This is going to protect your flat iron from getting any melting plastic on it. If you don't have a tool like this, I think you could use a butter knife. I know somebody that tried to use tweezers and it was painful, so be careful, be careful, be careful. So to get started, open up your eyeshadow pot, and then if yours has a sticker on the side of it, go ahead and take that off because it'll make it easier to depot your thing. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your little tool, your butter knife, whatever it is. I'm going to zoom way in so that you can really see this. Sorry that you won't really see my face. But you're going to take your little tool or your butter knife, and you're going to find the place inside of the container where the two meet. And you can actually just put this in it. You can pry this in it. So I've got that popped in there, and I'm just going to like try to pop this out. Just kind of putting some force on it, but nothing too crazy. You can see sometimes it takes a couple tries. This one's stubborn. And sometimes if you go in through the corner, it does it a little bit better, but you kind of have to get your thing in the middle, and then you can kind of slide it over to the corner and pop it out. So what you're going to end up with right now is two pieces. You've got the container, and then you've got the pan that is in this little inset, this plastic inset. Now to get the metal pan of shadow out of this plastic inset, what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the back side where the glue is. We're going to do that by placing it on our flat iron. Now I'm going to put the piece of paper down first, and then I'm going to slide that little shadow pan on there. And I have another one that's already popped out. You can see this one I already have out. You can actually do two at a time if you want to. Just make sure they're both on the flat iron. Like I said, I have my flat iron on high, and I haven't had it on very long. I think it warms up. This one is a high classic, and so it warms up really quickly anyhow. So you're just going to sit those on there for a minute, and while you have these on there, you can be depotting another shadow while you're kind of waiting. I've noticed that that's about as much time as I need, as much time as it takes to get another one of these shadows out. Basically by that point, and that one popped out really, really easily. Basically by that point though, I'm ready to move on. But I'm going to give those another minute on there, and so I'm going to just take I'm going to take my little Sharpie, and on the back side of these magnets, I didn't do these for most of these, but for the sake of this tutorial, you guys should be in the habit of doing this. All my MAC shadows have the names on the bottom, but I didn't do any of my NYX ones. But this color that I just popped out is Club Crawl. And I just wrote it on the back side of that magnet. And let's see. We'll do that brown one too. That's called Illusion. And you can see I'm not stressed out. I've just got those on the flat iron just warming up. And I'm gonna slide this brown one off, and they're warm. And then I'm going to take the bottom of my Comedone extractor. Now that is not pressing down easy enough. It's still too hard, and so I'm going to put these back on. It should be, you know, it's going to come out when it's really soft. Okay, so I've just let those sit back on there for about another minute, and I'm going to just slide those off. I'm going to use that paper just to sort of like put them down because they do get hot, and then I'm going to test these again to see. Yeah, so this is much softer. It's depressing quite easily. You can see that it's starting to pop out, and then you just pop it right out like that. You're not going to want to touch it because it's going to be really hot, but now I've gotten myself all stuck on this glue, which you're going to want to be careful of. And then I'm going to pop, you know what, I waited too long for this brown one. I got the green one out. It didn't, so it cooled off, I think, a little too much. And so I'm just going to throw that back on there for another minute. And while I have that back on the flat iron heating back up again for a couple more seconds, I'm going to place the metal magnet on the back of this green one that I just popped out. So I just leave the glue right where it is, and I don't remember what the name is. I think I already threw this container away and I didn't get the name. So then you can see that it just has that metal magnet on the back side, and there's the unbroken shadow. Okay, so this brown is probably definitely ready. I'm going to push it over, I'm going to pop it over, and I'm going to start pushing down to see if I can pop that out. This one is not coming out easy. This must have a lot of glue on it because they usually come out much easier than that. But you can see that I am not trying to pry it or force it out. I want to be able to depress the back side of it. I want to be able to make a dent in the back side of that really easily. So you can see where you can kind of see that dent right there. I want that to be really soft and easy. I don't want to have to force that. That's how you end up breaking your shadows. And so you really want to get that plastic nice and soft. Okay, so let's try again. We'll take this off the flat iron. We'll turn it upside down. Now it's probably soft enough that it's going to come right out. And I just kind of had to reach in there a tiny bit and scoop it right out. But there we go. That was not bad at all. And it's going to be warm to the touch, so you're not going to want to touch that metal pan at all. But I'm going to take the magnet that I have written, that's the name written on it. I'm going to take the back side off of that magnet. And then I'm going to carefully just set this magnet on the bottom end of this, on the bottom of this metal pan. Careful still not to touch it while it cools off. But there you go, perfectly intact and labeled and ready to go. And now that it's depotted, of course you're ready to put it in your Z palette. This is predominantly NYX shadows, and I've snuck a couple, you can see the ones that I've hit pan, these two right there. I've stuck a couple MAC ones in there that I just feel like go with this color palette really well. So I'm going to pop in Illusion right down there to finish off this palette. And you can see how easy that was. Really quick, doesn't take very much time, and is definitely worth it to get your shadows organized. I find that I use them so much more frequently because I have them all organized and in palettes. Plus they take up so much less room when you're storing them. And you just, who has time to dig through a box of a bunch of these little containers? I just wouldn't. I would end up wearing the same 3 over and over, and probably some of you can relate to that and identify with me with that. So I would highly recommend the Z palette for all of your eyeshadows, MAC and NYX. I actually even depot my NARS ones, and I depot basically anything that I think can be depotted. So you can get Z palettes on Amazon.com and all kinds of other places on the internet, and they're one of my favorite tools, one of my favorite like makeup tools. So anyway, I hope this was helpful and that you'll try depotting some of your shadows. Take care, you guys.